Hello everyone, today I'm going to showcase a mod called Bosses of Mass Destruction. So this mod adds 4 new bosses to enhance your Minecraft experience, and today we're going to showcase how to get to them, their boss drops, and we're going to showcase the bosses themselves. Let's get right into it. So our first boss on the list is called the Lich. So to get to this boss, first off you need to get the Soul Star. Soul Stars are dropped from undead mobs, and you can get them pretty often if you're not thinking about it. So after you get your Soul Star, you're gonna have to throw it and see where it leads, almost like an Ender Eye. So you just keep following your Soul Star until you reach your Lich tower. This is the tower where the Lich exists. So first off, you're gonna go to the middle spot right here and get your Soul Stars and place one on each one of these pedestals. Now as soon as you do this, it will turn into nighttime and the Night Lich will be summoned. It drops a bunch of enchanted books, a bunch of XP, and something called Ancient Anima. So this can be used for crafting recipes. I will show you later on in the video. The next boss is called the Void Blossom. So to get to this boss, you need to create the Lily of the Void, and you can create it by getting the Lily of the Valley and putting an amethyst shard next to it. You can create the Void Lily. So how to use this? You just plant it down on any surface, and it will start creating pollens that reach our next boss. So you need to dig down while holding this instead of any direction. So as you can see, this one still is pointing this way, so we're going to go same way it points for a bit. So our next boss on the list is called the Void Blossom. So to find this boss, you need to craft a Void Lily. You need a Lily of the Valley and an Amethyst Shard. Just put them next to each other and you will get the Void Lily. So this actually just gets some pollen, sprouts out some pollen, and you follow that pollen until you reach the boss. So let's try reaching it. Now as soon as you follow the Void Lily and dig straight down, you should find this cave. This cave is the spawn for the Void Blossom. And if we turn ourselves into survival, it should technically spawn. Yeah, it automatically spawns when you get near it. So this boss actually drops a crystal fruit and a void thorn, which is going to be used as a material for the tools later on in the video. Now our next two bosses can actually be found in the other 2 dimensions, not in the overworld. So the next boss, the Nether Gauntlet, can be found in the Nether, in rare structures that seem like bastions. So to actually find it, you can't do anything besides just search in the Nether for this arena. So this is the arena for the Nether Gauntlet, and you can actually summon him by breaking the small stone pillar in the middle. So now I'm just going to showcase how to break it. You just go into this small stone pillar. If you see some red particles coming out of it, that's your mark. That is the thing we need to break. So the little eyes in the middle, we need to break those. As soon as we break them, the Nether Gauntlet will spawn. So as you can see here, this is what the Nether Gauntlet looks like. This boss has 250 health, and it shoots out a bunch of projectiles, and the only way to kill it is shooting its eye or hitting the eye part in the middle. Now upon defeating this boss, it summons a weird ancient debris thing with a chest in the middle. So this chest actually has something called the Blazing Eye. This is a crafting material that will also be used to craft a bunch of stuff later on in the video. Our next boss is called the Obsidilith, and it can only be found in the end in structures that look like this. Now to summon this boss, just go to the altar right in the middle of the structure and use the Eye of Ender. It should be summoned shortly. There you go. This is the Obsidilith. This looks like it has 300 health. It doesn't actually move, but it attacks you with ranged attacks. Now upon defeating it, it will summon this giant pillar, and at the end of it there is a shulker box containing all of this loot. A bunch of obsidian, an iron sword, iron leggings, and most importantly, the obsidian heart, which we will be using as a crafting material later on in the video. So now we're going to showcase all the tools from the boss drops and how to actually craft them. So our first one here, this is the table of elevation. When placed, it grants you a 7x7 column where you can just fly almost like in creative. So if I turn myself into survival here, as you can see there's a little column and we can actually fly infinitely in this 7x7 area. If I were to go here, I would fall to my death, but thankfully I landed here so I didn't take fall damage. This is basically a creative column. You can fly whenever you like in this 7x7 column. Now to craft this table of elevation, you basically need an ancient anima, blazing eye, 2 golden ingots, and 3 obsidian to craft the table of elevation. Now on to our next item on the list. This is called the blast amplifier. So we're going to test this, but we have to go a bit further away from this arena. So basically this makes any explosion type 30% larger. So if we place a TNT and a blast amplifier here, now normally this would create a small explosion, but because we have the blast amplifier, it is much bigger than normal. Now if you remove it, we can compare 2 explosions next to each other. This is the difference between a blast without the blast amplifier and a TNT with the blast amplifier. Now to craft the blast amplifier, all you need is 7 obsidian, 1 blazing eye, and an obsidian heart, of course. And you can craft the blast amplifier. Our next item on the list is called the charged ender pearl. Now this is actually an infinite ender pearl and it won't be used. So this one actually gives you resistance after you teleport. So if we turn ourselves into survival and we happen to throw this, it won't actually damage us, but instead gives us resistance for a bunch of seconds. Now to craft this charged ender pearl, we actually need a void thorn, an actual ender pearl, and ancient anima. Now our next item is actually very useful for farming bosses. So this one resets nearby boss structures on use. So it summons a bunch of particles, and whatever boss you defeated will be like the structure that we used to summon them will be respawned. So for example, the area where the gauntlet spawns, you see the pillar in the middle. After defeating it, it disappears. So upon using this, it will reappear again. Same goes with the altar at the Obsidilith. So this one can be used to farm mobs. It is very useful. To craft this, we can actually use the netherite scrap, dragon's breath, and gas tier. Now this doesn't actually use any of the mod's items. You can craft this normally, and it gives you the brimstone nectar. Now on to our next item. This is called the earth dive spear. So using this actually grants you like a phase, almost a teleport through solid blocks. Now the range is extremely high. You can teleport through a lot of blocks just with a single throw. So if you use this, you can actually pass through all of these blocks and end at the end of it. Now if there happens to be a cave down there, we can actually TP into it. So if we turn ourselves into spectator mode and find a nearby cave, there isn't really a nearby cave, but we can go to this one. Yeah, this one should work. So if we turn ourselves into survival and try diving down, we can actually get into the cave. So this This tool is actually very fun to use and very interesting. Now to craft the Earth Dive spear, you can actually use a obsidian heart, a void thorn, and finally a stick. And you grab the Earth Dive spear. Our final item on the list, this is called the Staff of Suppression. Now this can be used to block mobs from spawning in any 64 block direction, which is a very large range. It's almost a 128 block radius where mobs cannot spawn. Now to actually craft this, you need an ancient anima, an obsidian heart, and normal obsidian to craft the Staff of Suppression. That marks the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.